Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, should Stephen A. Smith be replaced for his outlandish basketball take? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro premium community, which is on the way shortly. We're just putting the final touches on that, and also be on the lookout for Dreamerspro.com, which we're going to be working on after that. Anyway, let me get into this topic here today, guys. Now listen, I seldom touch on Stephen A. Smith from time to time, but sometimes, man, I get really irked by some of the things that him and others say on television, and I'll tell you why. Listen, when you have a platform as big as these guys have, right? You have your network. You have these huge platforms. At that point, it's not your job to sit there and worry about views or eyeballs. That's not your job. The networks worry about that. Your job is to just give great commentary, right? That's your job. And from what I've been hearing from Stephen A. Smith recently, he's been saying some of the most outlandish things that anyone could possibly say at that position. That's a basketball expert. So let's just go over some of the things that he's been saying, because to me, I think is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that watch our channel are going to agree with this, because you guys watch those channels too. You want to get a alternative viewpoint out there, what's being said out there. So I know a lot of these things that I'm going to say to you guys right now, you guys have heard, but let's just go through some of the things that that Stephen A. Smith has been saying. So let's start off with the Brooklyn Nets, right? Stephen A. Smith, as soon as the Brooklyn Nets were able to make the acquisition of James Harden, he went out of his mind, right? He went out of his mind and just started, gushing over the Brooklyn Nets. Oh, they're going to be this, they're going to be that. Now listen, the Brooklyn Nets are an amazing team offensively. We all fantasize of how good they would be offensively when they pulled off that trade with James Harden, right? And to a large part, they've been that good. Here's one of the things, though. When the Brooklyn Nets were going through a lull, when they were losing some games, there was a topic on the show, and they were asking, what's the major fix, or who should be more responsible for fixing the Nets as far as solving their problem? Is it their defense, like a DeAndre Jordan, or is it Kevin Durant? Would you believe what Stephen A. Smith said? No. The number one problem on the Nets is not their defense. That's not their problem. Their number one problem is their shot selection. He said that he would rather prefer in the end of the game that instead of Kyrie Irving having the ball, it should be Kevin Durant. Guys, help me understand. How is the shot selection going to solve the defensive woes of the Brooklyn Nets? How do you overlook DeAndre Jordan, the lack of defensive play that he's given, and say, oh, no, it's not that. It's the fact that they're not taking better shots. Then he was getting annoyed with Max Kellerman, and then at one point he tried to, pull his boss card and say, hold on a minute. I was the one that was under Larry Brown, and, this and trying to say, listen, guy, slow your roll. I know more about what I'm saying than you do, because I was under the great head coach Larry Brown, and that's what Larry Brown would say. After all of that time with Larry Brown, that's what you understood, that the Brooklyn Nets who have a horrible defense, and your solution to that is Kevin Durant. How is Kevin? And then he goes off to say, oh, and Kevin Durant is averaging 30, shooting 50. How is that supposed to solve your defense? That was the first thing, right? He said, it's not their defense, it's their shot selection. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Nets, as we speak, are currently ranked number 28 in the NBA in defense, right? They give up 118 points per game. That is the most amount of points given up by any team in the NBA. And Stephen A. Smith's big revelation is that no, it's not their defense that they need to solve. It's that they need to work on their shot selection. And Kevin Durant is the solution. How is Kevin Durant the solution? Is he going to guard all five players on the court? How is KD the solution to all of that? When KD joined the Golden State Warriors, they were a great defensive team first. So I don't understand how KD, but that was one of the things. There's so many other things that I need to get to. Secondly, his lack of acknowledgement of the Clippers as being title contenders. I've never once heard Stephen A. Smith this season brought up the Los Angeles Clippers as title contenders. Guys, do you know, as we speak, the Clippers have the number 3 record in the NBA. Just last night, they lost to the Utah Jazz, but the game prior, they beat the team that went to the NBA Finals, missing 4 starters without Patrick Beverley, Nicholas Batum, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. No mention of the Clippers. No mention whatsoever in any of his commentary. He never, ever mentions the Clippers. Another thing, first of all, putting Kevin Durant at many times during the season, putting Kevin Durant in the top 3 in MVP voting. How is it possible that Kevin Durant can be in the top 3 in MVP voting and his team is not even the best team in his conference, overlooking Kawhi Leonard? He never even mentions Kawhi Leonard at all at any point in this season. I think the last time they did a ranking, I think he put Kawhi Leonard at number 5. At numbers 5 or 6 for MVP ranking. That's where they had Kawhi Leonard the last time I checked. Now, just last night, and this is the one that sent me over the edge, him and Michael Wilbon did their top 5 regular season MVP candidates, right? And this, I'm going to read you the list of the expert, of the basketball expert, Stephen A. Smith, and I want you guys to take a listen to his top 5 candidates for regular season MVP. Here we go. And number 1, he has Joel Embiid. Okay, fine. You want to go with Joel Embiid? No problem. Number 2, he has LeBron James. That one I have no issues with, because LeBron, given the fact that Anthony Davis just went out and he's somehow being able to managing to keep that team afloat, is pretty impressive. Given the fact how well he's playing at his advanced age, is really remarkable. And understanding just the type of all-around playmaker that LeBron James is, because he is the system. He's not a system player. He himself, he's a system. So if you take him out of that offense, things are going to fall apart. So he makes a lot of the things on that team work. And LeBron James is amazing at running the team. So I can understand LeBron James being number 2. Guys, guess who he has at number 3? Kawhi Leonard. Psych. He has Damian Lillard as his number 3 overall candidate for regular season MVP. Then at number 4, according to the basketball expert, because all of us must be complete novices and fools. We don't know what we're saying. There's only Stephen A. Smith that understands this. He has James Harden as number 4 for regular season MVP. To win the regular season MVP award. And number 5, he has Stephen Curry. Is that not the most irresponsible take you could possibly have on the MVP voting right now? Given the fact that you have such a huge platform, you're going to put Damian Lillard, James Harden, and Stephen Curry in the top 5? Hold on a minute. How is it possible that he puts James Harden, Stephen Curry, and Damian Lillard in the top 5, but you don't mention Kawhi Leonard? Kawhi Leonard's team his team has the third best record in the NBA in the Western Conference. Number 1. Number 2, if I look at the Clippers' record, they're 21-9. They have a better record than the Philadelphia 76ers, who he has Joel Embiid as the number 1. Okay. Then if you go to the Los Angeles Lakers, they have a 22-7 record. How all of a sudden then Damian Lillard get to number 3? How did he get so high on the list? James Harden, the Brooklyn Nets, these guys have an 18-12 record, right? So he doesn't have Kawhi. And the most egregious omission of this list is Donovan Mitchell. Where's Donovan Mitchell on this list? Donovan Mitchell's Utah Jazz, all they are just the best team in the NBA. They've won 9 games in a row. They have a 24-5 record. They're 2 wins clear of the Lakers at the number 2 spot. They're at least 5 losses clear of the Philadelphia 76ers, who he has Joel Embiid at number 1. And in your top 5 MVP candidate listing, you don't mention Kawhi Leonard and Damian Lillard. Instead, to use your word, you have the unmitigated goal to come on TV and say that James Harden, Stephen Curry, and Damian Lillard should be in the top 3. What type of outlandish nonsense is this? How is this even possible that one guy can continually come out there and say so many stupid things? Listen, the reason I'm calling it stupid is because I'm not dumb. If I was dumb, then this would sound smart to me. This is stupid. This is a stupid list. Who are you going to convince about this list? Who? We're all watching these games. We're all looking at the records. We're all looking at how the teams are performing. And in all of that, this is the information that you're able to come out and say, oh, these are my top. Why is he saying this? And the only thing I can think of is that Stephen A. Smith is all about sensationalism and absolutely no substance. Because on a sensationalism level, yes, people are going to say, whoa, wow, what did you say? Are you kidding me? Wow, wow, whoa, what? You know, it's going to draw a lot of eyeballs. It's going to draw a lot of attention. But then once the attention is there, we're now like, okay, but so what's the substance? And you realize it's a bunch of nothing. It's a bunch of nothing. And I'm beginning to believe that Stephen A. Smith only hypes guys that either he knows personally or he wants to know. Because there's no way in hell that you're going to have a top 5 MVP candidate list. You're on the biggest sports platform in the world. You're the #1 voice on that platform, on that medium. This is Stephen A. Smith. And you talk about your current MVPs are Joel Embiid, LeBron James, Damian Lillard, James Harden, who doesn't even play defense, James Harden, and Stephen Curry, and you leave out Donovan Mitchell and Kawhi Leonard, and we're supposed to sit up here and take you seriously and say, this guy's a basketball expert. And ESPN does nothing with it, assuming that the masses of these people that are watching these guys are dumb. That's the only way you would put out a list like this, because you're insulting your viewers. If I put out a list like that, it means I'm insulting your intelligence. I'm saying that, listen, you're not smart enough to understand anything about basketball, so I'm going to trot out a list like this and say this is what it is, and I'm going to put on a suit and come out and say, listen, I'm an expert, and you need to take me seriously because I'm on TV. I think these are some of the most outlandish takes that Stephen A. Smith has had this season, and he consistently does them and gets away with them with not being reprimanded in any way, shape, or form, because you can just come out and say anything. And I'm an expert. So to me, listen, I think Stephen A. Smith should be replaced, or they should get somebody else. Because to be quite honest with you, yes, he's very entertaining. Yes, he draws in a lot of eyeballs, and I understand it's all about viewership. But at the same time, man, we have to have some type of substance. Your takes must make sense. We are not fools. Stop treating your viewers like fools. Stop doing that. Basketball is a game that's appreciated by people all around the world. Just because you're on TV doesn't mean you have a better grasp of it. It just means you're on TV. You apply for that position. That's what you got out of a bunch of other candidates, and that's a position you have. It doesn't mean that you have some type of monopoly over the understanding of basketball in the world. Let's stop that. These things that he says are absolutely absurd, in my opinion. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that Stephen A. Smith should be replaced, or something should be done for this guy constantly saying so many stupid things on TV? Or do you think, listen, it's all good, whatever it is, it's just entertainment? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the next video that we have coming up on the channel. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day, and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.